Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the afternoon session after a sumptuous and tasty lunch. The challenge is to get through the next 45 minutes to 1 hour with your full attention to the next agenda on the item. That's the next session on the agenda. And without much ado, start with that. My name is Seshadri Vidyam, and one of the directors at the Hindu Economic Forum of Australia. Before I start, I'd like to ask a question out to the delegates. Making society prosperous. Does anybody know where the tagline comes from? We're here in that session. Making society prosperous. It's one of the taglines of the World Hindu Economic Forum. With that in mind, and we now turn our attention to the current session, that is wealth creation in the digital age, opportunities through innovation and technology. I now request the following speakers to come on stage. Mr. Dr. Manoj Motwani, founder, CEO, MAP Asia Pacific Limited, is a seasoned management consultant and business coach with global experience in leadership, compliance, and brand strategy, and is based out of Hong Kong since 1993. I now request Sri Ashish Malani, an expert in residence and a RISE accelerator, to come on stage, please. Dr. Abhilash Chandra, or Abe Chandra, like he likes to be known as, founder of CQ Solar, Smart World, and Health and Technology Consulting. And finally, Sri Amit Kumar Das, CEO, iSoft Sydney, Australia. Please give them a big round of applause as they make their way to the stage. With our speakers, distinguished speakers on stage, I now request Dr. Manoj Motwani to open the session and take us through this session here with our distinguished speakers. Thank you, Doctor.
धन्यवाद शेषाद्री जी. Namaste everyone. Good afternoon. जैसा शेषाद्री जी ने कहा कि post lunch session is always very difficult. So try to stay awake. I'm sure you had coffees. So this session is going to be very interesting with our three speakers. So today is my great privilege to welcome you to this 9th session of Wealth Creation in the Digital Age, Opportunities through Innovation and Technology. We are living in a time where technology is rapidly changing industries, economies, and lives. The digital age has revolutionized how we create and sustain wealth, while also making opportunities for innovation more accessible to people everywhere. Today, technologies like artificial intelligence, blockchain, the Internet of Things, and digital platforms are transforming traditional industries and creating new ones. Our speakers will discuss how innovation drives entrepreneurship, promotes financial inclusion, and supports sustainable economic growth. In Bharat, the digital revolution has unlocked immense opportunities. Initiatives like Digital Bharat and surge in tech-driven startups are reshaping the economy. Historically, Hindus viewed wealth creation as a way to fulfill their moral and social responsibility. Bharat was once a global economic leader contributing 35% of the world GDP. 2,000 years back, according to economist Angus Madison. Although this position declined due to numerous invasions, Bharat is now experiencing a strong revival with its growing digital ecosystem, fast economic growth, and innovative energy. This ancient wisdom aligns with today's digital age, where wealth can uplift not just individuals, but the entire community. So today we have three speakers. You will hear them one by one, great speakers. Let me introduce first Shri Ashish Malani ji. Ashish Melani ji is an entrepreneur and innovation strategist. He mentors startups and SMEs in climate, smart tech, circular economy, and renewable energy, guiding them through market entry, regulatory challenges, and cross-border scaling. His work empowers founders to launch pilots, secure partnerships, and create scalable solutions for global impact, embodying collaborative innovation between Australia and Bharat. I invite Shri Ashish ji. Yeah, that one. Change on the screen there. You will be seeing there. Just stick there in the front. So, and the line over there. So, okay? Yep. I'll be seeing it. Let's see this. Try this. Yep. Wonderful.
Thank you very much for the introduction, and thank you to WHEF for inviting me here, and thank you, Sandeep Khurana, for introducing me to WHEF. So I'll be talking today about the RISE Accelerator, where I'm the expert in residence, which essentially means a mentor to the participants of the program. So I just click and it just goes, right? Yep. Next one. Wonderful, yep. Thank you. Okay, so I suppose a lot of you all might not have heard of RISE. So RISE stands for Rapid Innovation and Startup Expansion. It was conceived, thought of in about 2023. And it's an initiative of the Honorable Prime Minister of Bharat and Australia, Prime Minister Modi ji and Prime Minister Albanese. So this was on the back of the free trade agreement that some of you all might have heard of that Australia and India have gone on to sign. And one of the initiatives was around innovation and startups. I think both the Prime Ministers felt that it was important to build a pathway for innovators in Australia to launch in India and innovators in India to launch in Australia. And I think a lot of us might be familiar with the fact that oftentimes when it comes to early stage innovation, most innovators, when they expand out of their countries, want to go to the USA. That's sort of the holy grail. I want to go to Silicon Valley. And that pathway is sort of well set up. I think quite often you'll find Indian entrepreneurs and Australian entrepreneurs sort of journey number one will be USA, and then journey number two is I want to be in Europe. But we actually have two amazing markets next door to each other, and that's what the Prime Ministers wanted to sort of facilitate. So it's a purpose-built bilateral accelerator program, and it's been developed by CSIRO. If some of you are not familiar with CSIRO, it's the Australian federal science body. It's about 100 years old, so very prestigious in Australia. And on the Bharat side, it's Niti Aayog. I'm assuming all of you are familiar with Niti Aayog. But within Niti Aayog, there's a department called the Atal Innovation Mission, which is specifically there in India to foster innovation in India, and they're doing a fantastic job. So essentially, the idea was, and now we're sort of well on our way, was to identify mature science-backed tech-ready companies for international expansion on each side of the border, but based on specific themes. And the whole idea was there are certain themes that are common to Australia and India, and there's innovation happening in India, there's innovation happening in Australia, and both countries can benefit for those with those innovations for specific themes. So you can possibly see the themes up there in that sort of green box. The first cohort kicked off in 2024, in March, and that was around the circular economy. So we had 16 companies, 8 from India, 8 from Australia, handpicked. It was quite a competitive process, but all circular economy related companies. Round 2, or cohort 2, which actually just ended a month ago, the theme there was, excuse me, ag-tech. So, both countries have sizable agricultural industries, and there's innovation happening in Australia, innovation happening in India that sort of the ag industry on both sides can benefit from. Now, round 3 literally kicked off on Friday. So we were all in a call for the first time, the entire cohort. and that is around the energy transition. So all the participants in round 3 that's about to begin are part of the energy transition world, and they're innovating in that space. Round 4 and 5 are yet to come, but you can see there, it's electric vehicles. And I can't actually see the last one. My eyes are a bit bad at the moment, but hopefully you all can. So it's thematic focused. Now, this program, as I said, is very selective. It's been very well publicized in the innovation space in India by NITI Aayog, very well publicized by CSIRO in Australia, so get a lot of applicants. And it's not only a fantastic pathway for the participants, but they actually get paid to do it. So there's grant funding that comes. It's non-dilutive, no equity is taken, nothing. It's just you participate, you get paid to do the program. It helps startups and scale-ups navigate all the various aspects any company needs to when you're crossing borders: cultural, regulation, market entry strategies, what have you. And the larger sort of aim, and it's working very well, is to strengthen the Bharat-Australia strategic partnership. So that's sort of what RISE in a nutshell. So how does it work? It's actually a pretty intensive program. So once participants are selected, then they are with the program for 9 months. And essentially, it's broken up into sort of 2 phases. The application phase is obviously internal. That's behind the scenes. We get all the applicants, we select the applicants. We then have the discovery phase, and this is very important because I think a lot of cross-border startup scale-ups, even mature businesses, often just want to jump into the other country. You'll meet a partner and it's like, yep, let's do business and jump into the other country. The discovery is critical, and that's why we spend a lot of time on the discovery part of things, because it actually is a whole new world out there. If you're Indian founder going to Australia, Australian founder going to India, it's a whole new world out there, and I'll explain the discovery in a bit more detail. But we break that up into 2 bits. The cohort composition, as mentioned, it's small, about 8 from each country. Typically, it's 2 members from each company. So you actually have 8 times 2 folks from India, Bharat, and 8 times 2 folks from Australia that are participating. It's curriculum-based. So there's an online platform where they do need to participate and actually learn some of the methodologies and tools. A lot of one-on-one, a lot of seminars, a lot of getting together too, but it's a sort of multi-curriculum-based program. We have expert teams, and each participant organization is put together with an expert team sort of halfway through the discovery process. Once we learn more about them, what they're trying to achieve, what their needs are, then we can start piecing together the expert team around them better. We have the experts in residence, so I'm one of the experts in residence. So I'm sitting here in Australia, even though I'm from Mumbai. I'm actually living in Perth. But NITI Aayog also has an expert residence in India. And we all work seamlessly together as one team. There's an in-person immersion. So each cohort, the 9-month program, we'll meet a week in Australia. Everybody meets in Australia, and then a week in India. And that's actually quite critical because that's the only time we get to meet, but all the Australian participants get to really understand India and vice versa. Then there's a pilot project support. So after discovery, we move on to actually piloting in the other country. And there's a lot of work there too. And there's a lot of networking and connection that's happening. So who delivers the program? So you can see on the upper left of your screen, it's sort of top-down. You've got CSIRO, as I mentioned, in Australia, and Atal Innovation and NITI Aayog in Bharat. We've got the experts in residence, I mentioned that. We have domain experts, so I mentioned there's a theme. We have experts from each theme participating for each cohort. And we've got a lot of corporate support. So TCS, I'm assuming everyone's familiar with, obviously part of the Tata Group. They've been a constant supporter through. You've got Mahindra & Mahindra, you've got the Confederation of Indian Industries, Beanstalk, which is an ag tech specialist, ISB, Indian School of Business, Grant Thornton. So it's quite a sort of well-networked, powerful group of corporate sponsors that are participating in this too to support all the participating organizations. In terms of critical success factors, so I'll just dwell on this for a minute. As I mentioned, the discovery is absolutely critical. And we pull the founders back to ground zero. All the founders are like, great, I'm part of the program, now I want all the contacts. And we're like, hang on. Before we give you the contacts, we really need to deep dive and understand what exactly you're solving in the country. You might be solving a problem, an Australian ag tech founder might be solving a problem for an Australian farmer, the Australian industry. But are you really solving a problem for the Indian farmer? And we use the Strategizer toolkit. So I'm a certified coach in the Strategizer methodology. It's a fantastic methodology for anyone interested in innovation. Works for large corporates, works for startups. And it starts off with the value proposition. And if you can see that sort of circular face in the middle of the circle there, that's the customer. So we force the participants to really start thinking about their customer in the other country, what jobs they're doing for the customer with their product or service, what pains they think their customer is experiencing. And it's really interesting because we facilitate, and it's just their view of what they think their customer is in India or in Australia. It's a 4-hour session I run with each and every company at the outset. And one of the outcomes of that is a value proposition statement. So you can actually see a sample value proposition statement there. That was a real one that came out from cohort 1. Alt Leather is an Australian company that's essentially making an alternative to leather using plant-based ingredients. And it sounds a bit silly, but it took 4 hours to get to that statement. We really make them think about what jobs they're doing, what pains they're facing. Now, once we come up with that statement then becomes the initial, I suppose, anchor for the entire RISE support team to work with. So we've got the experts questioning them, sort of fine-tune the value proposition, but then very quickly, once they fine-tune the value proposition, we individually take each and every company down this pathway. So every company is working in a different industry. Whatever the industry is, the value chain in that industry is different. So each industry is now starting to look at their value chain in the new country they're looking at. Each company is then looking at the compliance and regulation. Each company is doing price discovery in that area. Localized messaging based on the value proposition. We finally then get into that pilot stage. And the pilot then requires a whole bunch of work. There's legal work, there's hand-holding, there's all kinds of negotiations happening. Pricing discussions, because even a pilot costs money, both parties might have to pay. What happens at the end of the pilot if any materials have to be returned? So the pilot is its own animal. And that's how we sort of run that customized journey. The outcomes have been fantastic. So RISE 1, you can see 14 startups, 14 to 16 participated. We had 2 immersion weeks, 12 MOUs, 12 pilot projects going on. You can see $37 million in orders from one of the companies, so real business happening, a lot of partnerships, etc. You can see in RISE 2, 10 startups, 2 immersions, 7 MOUs, 7 pilots, and RISE 2 just ended. We're pretty confident some of these pilots will quite quickly convert into revenue. But I think more important than revenue, the fact that there's incredible innovation happening in India, the fact that there's incredible innovation happening in Australia, and this program then takes these innovations cross-country, everybody's a winner. So all of a sudden, if it's ag tech, Indian farmers are winning from amazing innovation in Australia, and vice versa, Australian ag tech industry is winning from amazing innovation in India. So it's actually quite a large societal impact apart from the revenue. These are just some sample pilot projects. There's a company called Rainstick, Australian. They call themselves electricity as a service, so it's quite interesting, but they're using electricity to essentially improve the yield of seeds, and JK Seeds has picked them up in India. They find them quite a sort of useful play for their business. You've got Soar, again, an Australian company. You can see that white sort of circular snake-looking thing. It's actually a boom. It sucks up 1,000 times its weight in terms of pollution in the water, and it's now being used by the Goa government. And then you've got Alt Leather, which is the company I mentioned. They're partnering with a shoe leather manufacturing company in India that actually exports to Europe, and the European buyers are very keen on alternatives to leather for their sustainability needs. So some great pilot projects happening there. This is participants' feedback. I won't dwell too much on this, but fortunately it's been very, very well received by participants on both sides of the border, and I think it's something that will go on for a while. In terms of summary learnings, I've got a minute, so I'll do this quite quickly. Committed leadership's key. So the fact that this came from both the prime ministers was fantastic. And if you look at how both Atal Innovation Mission, Niti Aayog on the Bharat side, and CSIRO on the India side are leading, it's incredible. It's right from the top. Everybody is highly engaged, and there's real purpose to this. Financial commitment, I believe $20 million has been put towards this program, half from each participating country. You've got a dedicated and empathetic cross-border functional team. So I'm using these words specifically. So empathetic, all of us work in the industry. We know how difficult it is for founders. So we really put ourselves in their shoes and work closely with them. Cross-functional because it requires a whole bunch of different areas to sort of get this going right. Strict strategic selection process, very important to get the right people in. Very structured process. I mentioned the strategizer framework. We use quite a few other things. And it's a very collegial atmosphere. Everybody's walked away with strong friendships, strong bonds that will go long beyond RISE. So that's it. I think I'm just on time. Thank you.
Dhanyavad, thank you for your great insight. Our next speaker is Dr. Abhilash Chandra. He's founder of Saban Group of Companies. He's a dual qualified vascular and general surgeon based in Adelaide with academic roles at University of Adelaide and Flinders University. He's fellow of the Royal Australasian College of Surgeons, a published researcher with over 30 papers in national and international presentations. He also serves in the Australian Army Reserves, currently as a medical officer with 3 HSB. I invite Dr. Abhilash Chandra.
Namaste. Can everybody hear me okay? Before I start, I just wanted to thank the organizers, especially Pandeyji and Sandeepji for giving me the opportunity to be here. And I must admit, this is just a phenomenal forum, and I'm very lucky to be with such amazing people on the stage, but also hearing everybody earlier on, and I'm sure later on this afternoon. It's such a privilege to be here. So thank you so much for the opportunity. I happen to be a surgeon, but before that I also am a husband and a father, and I'm a community member. So that is the most important thing about me. Being a doctor, being a surgeon are just adjuncts. And the way I'm looking at things is how healthcare is going for people, whether they be civilian or they be in the defense industry. There are some certain problems that are currently existing, and what I was trying to do is look at innovation as changing some of those things. So when I was put onto this panel as wealth generation, I was quite confused initially because I don't have wealth, but I do look at innovation, and I believe in dharma and karma, right? So service to people, at some point the karma comes back. So that's the philosophy that I'm working with. What we do know is we live in a volatile world. It's an uncertain and complex world, and there's a lot of ambiguity. So whether it be in the geopolitics or whether it be in the economics, we have issues with healthcare, with housing, with water and food and energy. All of those things lead up to increase in the number of disasters we are experiencing globally. Again, natural disasters. In India, I think there's a natural disaster every week, depending on where you are. And in Australia, you have one side burning, whereas the other side is in floods, and that rotates sometimes as well. So it's a major issue that we are facing in both nations. Similarly, the risks of the geopolitical environment is changing rapidly, and we don't know which part of the world is going to be going to pose a problem, and we don't know what might escalate to cause issues in terms of healthcare administration to our civilian populations and to our defense personnel. what we're trying to do, so this is my 25th year in the Australian Army, and during that time I've been a digger, which means an infantry soldier. I've been a medic, I've been a medical officer, I've been a senior medical officer for a brigade. And during that experience and during that time, I've identified 3 different capability gaps. The first one is we don't have enough frontline healthcare infrastructure. We don't have enough healthcare personnel at the front line, and we don't have enough healthcare specialists. We can change one thing at a time, but the system fails because if all 3 aren't elevated and escalated and scaled at the same time, it just won't work. So what we're trying to do is develop a system of systems approach to healthcare capabilities. And because it ends up being such a big problem, I decided to start this thing called a SABRN group of, SABRN group of companies. The guiding mantra for this is for people and for planet, because as a surgeon, I help one person at a time, but the world consists of communities and groups of people, populations of people, but that needs to also be taken in context with the planet. So in order to try and address such a big aspect or such a big wicked problem, we had to break that SABRN entity into small groups. So I'll be focusing on SABRN Health today. This is, the concept of this would be a not-for-profit entity because healthcare is a human right. So if we start concerning ourselves with shareholders, that doesn't equate to me. These are stakeholders that need to have care, and shareholders don't belong in this aspect of, in the SABRN Health aspect of, from a company point of view. That's my opinion, at least, anyway. So what we're doing from the infrastructure point of view is developing compact and transportable medical and surgical pods. So these are quite compact, 3 meters by 2.4 meters by 2.4 meters, and we are looking at integrating various technologies, including IoT, AI, and other technologies like that, to make sure that we are able to provide effective healthcare to the people who are the most underprivileged. We're calling these the Ganesha pods, and the symbolism with Ganesha starts off with what Lokmanya Tilakji did 100 years ago. So back then, in order to pray, we needed to go, well, our ancestors needed to go to the temple to pray. And what he did was quite revolutionary and certainly innovative from that perspective, to bring God to the people, to their homes. 100 years later, we are trying to mimic that in some ways. The paradigm at the moment is an unwell patient needs to go to a hospital, and we are trying to change that to bring the hospital to the patient, because the gap that exists is between the primary health care and the community, and that's, in my opinion, a really big gap. It's essentially decentralizing healthcare. So the SABRN solution to this is to try and develop healthcare as a service. 3 components include the first one being scaling infrastructure with the Ganesha pods. So the concept is, I suppose, similar to the Toyota Corolla story. Toyota makes 60 million Corollas every year. We can buy a Corolla for $20,000, but and they must be making some revenue because otherwise they wouldn't make that. We are not trying to build a Corolla, we're just trying to build a box. So if we're able to use economies of scale, we would be able to make that critical infrastructure to distribute to communities so that the healthcare becomes not only available, but it becomes accessible and it becomes affordable. So that's the first step in our scaling strategy. The second part is scaling the frontline health workers, and we're using virtual reality and augmented reality as immersive training and simulations to upskill people who people who may be quite early stage in their healthcare careers. They don't have to go through 6 years of medical school, 2 years of being a junior doctor, and then 5 years of being a surgical trainee to get that. If there's needs, we need to get to that quickly. And we then supplement them with surgical training or 3D printed surgical mannequins so that we can get that haptic feedback and tactile feedback to upskill them before they go into these pods to provide that frontline healthcare. And the third problem is not having enough healthcare specialists, and that is not an easy problem to solve, but with technologies like telementoring, where you've got, since COVID, we've been doing telehealth. So this then is a graded system where you can have audio only, audio visual, and also more recently a merged reality or merged immersion of the healthcare specialist into the pod, where you can have a frontline healthcare worker who's trying to do their best for a patient, who's getting moment by moment clinical support as well as medical legal support while they are looking after a patient. So this is some of the infrastructure that we're including with our Ganesha pods. It's dual function, so it's civilian and military. It's compact, it's transportable. Domain agnostic means it's interoperable and interchangeable across land, air, sea, and that littoral zone, which is at the beachfront. Vehicle agnostic in the sense that we can transport these capabilities with trucks, trains, planes, ships, helicopters, hovercrafts, amphibious vehicles, or other vehicle systems. And again, it can be crewed vehicle systems or uncrewed vehicle systems or unmanned vehicle systems. They're scalable, so if we have to build one box or one life pod, we can build 10 life pods. We will be able to build 100 life pods. And that way we have a hospital that is digitally interconnected and scalable, as well as being geographically unconstrained. We're trying to build them as modular so that we can change damaged components easily without removing that capability. We've got integrated within it technologies such as that include decontamination of the air. So within 5 minutes, we're able to remove 90% of bacterial or viral particulate matter. Within 12 minutes, 99%. So that means that this then becomes a surgically sterile field. That same technology also has been shown to become resilient against biological threats and nuclear and chemical threats as well. So it can be used as protective stations for people. We are including technologies that can eradicate surface bacteria. So it's more than a spray and wipe clean. We can also use blue light technologies to decontaminate surfaces, so decreases the risk of cross-contamination between patients. It is compact. That picture on the left is a typical footprint of a Roll 2 hospital, and it is scalable. It is vehicle agnostic as per the images on the top right. It is domain agnostic as per pictures on the left, but also it's functional in desert areas, in urban areas, and sub-zero areas such as the Himalayas. It has no geographic constraints, and we're trying to build these pods so that they can be bunkered, as in dug in and have a meter of soil put onto it so that it becomes invisible to adversaries from a military context. We're looking at putting other capabilities such as a Faraday cage to reduce the electromagnetic signature leakage. We're looking at integrating technologies that would spoof, meaning it would deceive adversaries as to where the location is. We're putting in technologies such as X-rays and ultrasound machines so that we can get cutting-edge diagnostic technologies to help with the clinical decision-making. And what we're also looking at doing is introducing current technologies such as a head CT scan for traumatic brain injury and also robotic surgery so that we can have surgical intervention without a surgeon being present in the pod. That second component is training with simulation, and that is to try and increase the number of people who would be required to assist when things get really bad in disaster zones. Having the just-in-time, just-in-case, just-in-scale capability for community members to step in to do what is needed to save an individual's life, because if they start waiting for a health professional to come there, that would be too late. We're using immersive technologies like virtual reality and augmented reality, as well as the surgical mannequins that I mentioned earlier. And the augmented reality immersion technologies would enable people to learn about operating in that particular environment while having awareness of where they are as well. Scaling healthcare specialists includes wearing small computers which have a camera and a screen where that healthcare worker would be able to, where the healthcare specialist would be able to see exactly what the frontline health worker is seeing and give accurate moment-by-moment directions on what to do next as well. So our pods also have an HL7 FHIR compliant electronic medical record system, which means that we can send that medical information seamlessly to the receiving hospital later on. And we're building in communication resilience through terrestrial as well as extraterrestrial communication systems with LEO, MEO, and GEO satellite technology as well. What we're trying to do is the Dharma-driven wealth creation, where we're looking at increasing the value to the community and the nation, and at some point that will also come back. Oops, wrong way. I've got an amazing team. Basically, it's family, essentially, and we've got a ton of collaborators as well. These are my contact details. Please feel free to contact me at any point. Thank you so much.
Whenever we see that we have seen enough, we come across something new, something innovative. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Abhilash. Our next speaker is Shri Amit Kumar Das. Amit Das ji is the founder and CEO of iSoft Group, as well as IST Group and Innotech Group, with operations in Bharat, Australia, Dubai, and the UK. Amit ji has grown his companies into global providers of ERP, CRM, SCM, and enterprise software solutions for 40+ countries. He founded the Moti Babu Institute of Technology in Bihar. He is recipient of Bihar Asmita Samman. It's a great example of resilience, innovation, service, aiming to make Bharat a global technical talent hub. I invite Amit ji.
First of all, I would like to thank you to World Hindu Economic Forum, and especially Swamiji, our inspirational leader. And I'm really very fortunate and proud to be here among the blessed and very elevated souls. All of you are here, and very committed souls also. At very early stage in my life, I came across a very inspiring quote which had a deep impact on me. It says, "Vision without action is merely a dream. Dream without vision passes the time. And action with vision can change the world." What we see here is the true implementation of that vision. Swamiji had this vision how to create prosperity in the entire globe. And I see this World Hindu Economic Forum actually has got a vision, is taking beautifully meaningful action, and this will surely transform the world. I don't have the doubt, and I'm so inspired to be here. So really proud to be here. Thank you, thank you. And I'm very thankful to Yatin ji, Kapil ji, for inspiring me and his great support, and Amit Laskar ji, who brought me in this forum and connected me with Swamiji also. Now, I would also like to thank you, Rajendra ji, who is the chairman of this committee. Look, I have attended a lot of event of the biggest in the world. And I have never attended the event like this, which I see one of the best. I know how much hard work would have gone to do this. All of you look, as a human, we always find a fault. But if you try to find a fault here, you will not find one except inspiration. And this is the benchmark which we are trying to set and trying to showcase to the entire world. That as a community, as a believer in certain philosophy, what we can do at a world stage. So I'm really, I'm very grateful, and thank you for the entire team of this organizing committee. While Swamiji is a sun, they are the star. And we must congratulate them, and we must thank you them for organizing beautiful event. Morning to evening, whether it is a panel, whether it is a break, whether it is a lunch, whether it is a dinner, whether it is a breakfast, you try to see it is inspiration everywhere. So it is a really inspiration. Inspiration always gives us the energy which we can never buy in the world, even with $1 trillion. We need this kind of inspiration everywhere in this world today where we stand. Now, obviously I have got the topic of the AI, but as you would have noticed since yesterday, everybody is talking about AI. So I would like to share some of the practical understanding of AI, how AI can help. I would also like to share whatever I have learned. I'm not a very traditionally qualified person, but whatever I have learned through my practical experience and struggle, I would like to share. Because what we are trying to do here in the World Hindu Economic Forum is create wealth and share that wealth, create more prosperity among us. So we have to help each other. We have been blessed by a lot of strength by the God. We need to share those strength, align ourselves, and then create that prosperity in this world, beyond this world. So when coming back to AI, look, we have got a technology company. In last 2 years, we have adopted the AI in 360-degree form. We have invested heavily in AI. Now, I'll give you some of the practical experience of AI. Look, in the entire humanity, we tend to not accept the changes because we are always fearful. But changes has only brought the progress to this world. So what we have to do is we have to accept and adopt whatever is coming. Now, you may feel that AI is coming, not coming, but AI is already here. We need to understand it. AI is not everything. It will never replace human. But AI is something which is very important, something on top of what we have already got. I'll give you some of the example. We are doing a lot of work in the health sector. Health sector I'm very passionate about because I belongs to the state of Bihar, in one of the most backward district in entire India, which is called Araria, border to Nepal. I see a lot of Nepalese colleagues here. I'm so proud to see them. Araria actually is the border of Nepal and Biratnagar district. So one of the, even in the Prime Minister website, it shows it is one of the most backward district. My father was a humble farmer, and he had some health problem. We tried to get him whatever we could. And I was trying to bring him to Delhi, but he died right on the platform station, train station. He could not get that diagnosis. So I always, since that day, I always try my best how to do something through which I can at least save somebody else's father, mother, sister, whosoever, by giving the access to the best of the best health care. Now, through that vision, we are building world's largest medical center in my village, where 10,000 people will be, 10,000 people, thank you. 10,000 people will be treated free of cost every day. diagnosis, consultancy, treatment. Because as all of you know, in the Indian village, sometimes people have the diabetes, but they don't know they have the diabetes. So they keep on eating. They have the blood pressure. They are not aware they have the blood pressure. By the time they realize they have this health problem, it is already very late. So we are building that screening and all that. Now what we did with AI, I'll tell you this practical, which is very important. So we did the tie-up with Microsoft. Microsoft has got a technology through which you can have a small machine. In the Indian village, lot of people become blind. So why they become the blind? Because the people who works in the farm, 80% Indian population is dependent on the farm. So they have got a lot of contact with a lot of problem with the eye, dust and all. So what happened is they start getting some kind of eye problem. And by that time they realize it is too much, they go to some doctor, because not like Australia, you have the eye checkup and eye clinic everywhere. In India, in the village area, it is not that much commonly available. So they become blind. Now this technology is a very portable technology. You can put it in the bicycle and even on the scooter, take to the entire village. It will scan the eye. It will come to the district headquarters. It will upload all the data to the AI server. And what it will do is it will tell whether that problem has got early chances of becoming blind or not. So early detection of blindness. So what it does is it says, you have the problem, you don't have the problem. So those who has got the problem, they refer to the hospital. So now you can see thousands and thousands of people is getting scanned, and we are stopping that blindness, which is humanly not possible. So what AI is doing, AI is enabling us. AI is not taking our job. What AI is doing, helping us to achieve something which otherwise we cannot achieve. So this is the beautiful example of how you can take care of your entire community and population through using the AI. The second thing, and we did the pilot in the Vaisali district, which has got the oldest democracy in the world where it was born. And then we did another pilot of something with the lunatics, again, South Korean company. What they do is, again, Bihar, since it is my home state, I always believe that you should never forget your root. If root is strong, your tree will be strong. So I always try to make my my home district, it's okay. Home district as a place, and entire India, Bihar, and all that as the foundation place through which we can give to the entire world. So we did one thing where we were scanning. So a lot of people get the TB. A lot of people get problem of cancer, heart cancer, lungs cancer. So this what AI does is, and it will scan all your X-ray, which you do over the period of time. And then after 2, 3, 4 years, that scanning will detect something which normal eye cannot detect, and will tell you, as we all know, if we detect some disease early, it can save our lives. So what it does is, it detects early, and after detecting that one, it can tell you whether you have the potential problem of health or not. So these are the real good thing which AI can do. And so all of us, we may be in a different business. As you would have seen, every sector, AI is coming up. So you must adopt it. Try to see how AI can enable you to do things in a better way. It will help you create a lot of wealth. As you would have seen with a lot of venture fund, they're only interested on something which is emerging. So if your company is doing something, you have got some AI component, it can help. As we said that we are engaged in the AI in a 360-degree. Recently, I supported a institution which called GI of AI, Global Institute of AI. Mr. Sandeep, who was head of AI in Bank of America, is the one who has created this organization. 60,000 scientists, engineers are part of it. We are so proud to support that initiative. So we are all trying to support all this AI thing is happening. What I would request all of you is understand it. When you don't understand, it creates fear in you. Understand it. Once you understand, you'll find actually it is very useful for you. Then use it. Then on top of that, still if you are not able to figure out, seek the help within the community. you'll find a lot of people who can help each other. At least in this room, I find there is a, as I said, it is evolved soul, blessed soul. What I find is we have got a lot of strength among us. We have got a lot of wisdom. And through that strength and wisdom, we can do, actually we can transform the world. We sometimes don't realize that God has given us immense strength. One individual actually can create the entire universe, but we don't realize. We look outside, look inside. When you look inside, you'll find full of energy, full of wisdom, full of strength. I'm the living example of it. I could not go to the university, but I built the university. My father didn't get the treatment, but I built the hospital. So look, what I believe is all of you can change the world. And collectively, I don't have the doubt that we cannot. Swamiji has created a beautiful platform. If we are all together, we can change the world, which has already started. We have already started transforming the world. So I would like to say one more thing. Look, I would recommend connect, complement. Don't compete and conflict. When we connect and complement, we can really transform. Sometimes as a human nature, we start competing with each other. That will not create a progress. Somebody came to, I have given the contract to someone to build our new corporate office. Look, the one contract, there was a new person, as Swamiji vision is how we can create the wealth among ourselves and then share it. I took a courage to give that person a contract. He wanted to start a business. He gave 10 contracts to someone else because one contract contains so many opportunity. One day he asked me the question that what do you define competition? I knew that he was worried. I said, look, if somebody is doing something with the purity in the heart, with a good purpose, he is not your competitor. If you are doing something good with the purity in the heart, with a good purpose, then you are complementing. But if you don't have the purity in the heart and you don't have the purpose, then you need to take that, because that is how you will create the wealth. Wealth is not about money. Wealth is about creating happiness. Happiness. Our company's philosophy is, yes, thank you. Philosophy is be happy, keep your family happy, spread the happiness. If you are not happy, you cannot keep your family happy. If your family is not happy, you cannot take that happiness outside your family. So first, be happy. Keep your family happy. Take the happiness out. And once you start doing it, every 2 seconds of happiness can generate the energy which you will not believe. It is equivalent to 10 years of tapasya. So create that happiness. Let's help each other over here. I feel that we can connect, complement. Look, we have got, just to make more action-oriented part of this session, we have got a venture fund, which is led by Amitanand Laskarji. Purpose of that venture fund, Swamiji beautifully on the first day said, you need first market access. Second, you need capital. Third, you need human capital. Fourth, you need innovation and technology. We are into every space of it. We have built certain platform. We would like to extend those platforms to all of you. If we have a struggle, I have a struggle, I would not like all of you to struggle. We are here to learn from each other, collaborate. Let's do something. And we have got those venture funds. We have got this lot of beautiful thing. I connected with Avilasji in the morning. He's doing wonderful. Among us, sometimes we don't know that actually we have got person within our room who has got a tremendous talent. Everybody in this planet has been given the talent which God has not given to the second person. We need to understand those talents, align those talents, and then you can see how we can change the world. So a lot of good wishes to you. One thing I would like to say in the last is, look, always dream big. Always have the big vision. While I was coming, my younger son told me that I want to buy something from Uber Eats. I said, okay, go ahead, buy. So he said, what is the budget? I said, you buy whatever you want to. He said, there's no budget. I said, there's no budget, but don't buy the Uber. You can buy that later. So what I'm saying is, right from the beginning in this world, people will tell you this is a philosophy. What I'm talking about is philosophy, but remember, this is the real world. world in which we live is an illusion. So what we need to is come out of the illusion, understand our inner strength, and then transform the world. So this is my request that all of us have got a real strength. This platform is a beautiful platform. We all come together with the same goal, and we can really transform the world. So I don't want to take too much time. I have already taken 1 minute more. So a lot of good wishes to you. I'm very thankful that I got the blessing from all of you. So a lot of good wishes, and भगवान आप सबों के घर में समृद्धि खुशहाली बनाए रखे, आप लोग आगे बढ़ते रहिए. Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful and some great insights from all our speakers on stage. I now open the floor for questions. We've got a couple of volunteers out here who can come up to you. Please state your name and keep the questions simple, maybe in a line or two, so we can get through as many questions as possible. Thank you.
Till the audience get ready, let me ask a question. And let me start here. So we
Thank you.
start with Ashish ji. What piece of advice you would give in 60 seconds to our youth or who are looking for the early startups or the SMEs?
Namaste, everyone. I am Srinath from Sydney. It was a great inspirational speech by Amit. Again, there is a nostalgia about AI. AI, think about this. AI will not overtake humans. AI won't replace humans, but humans with AI is like, will replace humans without AI. I repeat, AI won't replace humans, but humans without AI will replace humans without AI. So AI is important. Thank you, Amit ji. Thank you.
Meanwhile, you can start, Amit ji.
Thank you, Amit ji. I do know what you were doing, but it's easy to say that I created a university, though I did not go to university. But the big question is there's a lot of people around here. They would like to do the same thing, but they do not know how. Kaise karna hai? Is it possible in very short how you really did it so that we all can really do something about it? Thank you.
Amit ji.
So, Yatinji, thank you for this question. I have learned everything in my practical life. What I feel is this good intention comes to everybody without a doubt. But we are so much consumed by whatever is going on in this world that we let go that good intention. Now, what God says you hold on with the good intention, I'll help you get it done. But we don't even hold that good intention even for 24 hours. So what I say is, and I come across so many people who says, look, I wanted to do this in my hometown in India. I want to do this, I want to do that, but I'm not able to do. I find so much challenge. So when I hear all that, I do understand those practical things. But most of the time, what you will find is that what will happen in step 2 and step 3 is stopping you to take the step 1. God says that I will going to take the rest of the step. You take the first step. That is what is very important. Have the faith in the God. Have the belief in yourself. You take the first step, and I'm telling you, you alone can change the universe. First step is very critical. We are all child of God. God will always be fair with us. He is begging everybody, take that one step. I'm going to take the rest of the step, but we never take that first step thinking what will happen on the third step and fourth step and fifth step. So this is my mantra. Take the first step and you will see everything happens. I did all those things. I didn't do it. It was God who did it. Became the medium. I had that courage to take that first step. Thank you.
Thank you, Amit ji. All right, let me jump in first. Ashish ji, you said RISE is building the pathway between Bharat and Australia. So the youth here who are into startups, who are going into, or even the SMEs, so what advice you would give them when they are participating in the RISE? What is the advice for them to be successful in this whole journey, in this whole program?
Thank you for the question. So I think whether it's a RISE participant or anybody else that's thinking of starting a startup, I think it's very important to think of whatever it is you're trying to do from who you're trying to serve's perspective. Almost invariably, I'll meet founders of companies and they'll start talking about their solution. I've got this great, cool app that can do this, this, this. And I try and flip it around. I'm like, okay, who's it for? Who's it serving? What problem are you solving for them? So I think really, truly thinking of your customer's problems, the pains that you're alleviating with your solution, the gains that you're giving them with your solution. I think if you understand that very well, and then think about your customer again, and think how else are they getting the job done? Because there's always another way they can get it done, and then sort of get a better informed view. Are you creating a value proposition for that particular customer that's actually better than the alternative they have out there? And sometimes maybe they don't have an alternative, and that's your answer right there. So I think, again, starting with your customer, really being customer focused from your very beginning in your thinking is probably the bit of advice I'd give.
So it's like touching the pain points and then start from there.
Yeah, and testing it out. So it's, you just have your assumptions in your head. If you're building a product for a farmer, then go and speak to 15 farmers who you think are your customers and validate that, yes, this is what I thought, the problems I'm solving for them. Go out there and validate it before jumping in and creating.
Okay. One question from audience.
Yep. Namaste. I'm Devavrat, a law student from Sydney and president of Hindu Youth Australia. My question is to Dr. Abhilash-ji. Your product has immense potential to increase healthcare coverage in rural and remote areas across the world. In terms of how this is going to be funded capital-wise, do you see this being a public venture through governments investing in their healthcare systems through your product, or is this a private venture in the sense that private businesses give capital for you to be able to upscale and access those areas? If it is a private venture, how can the World Hindu Economic Forum support you in terms of being able to increase access to healthcare at a very affordable rate? Thank you.
Thank you very much for your question. At this moment, we're still a startup. The technology readiness level is about TRL 4. It's something that I don't think can wait. So I've actually invested a lot of my own funds to build this. The way I look at it is, it's an interesting problem, right? The Sabrin Health arm, I want it to be a not-for-profit because, like, as I mentioned earlier, healthcare is a human right. We need to make that available and accessible and affordable. There needs to also be a for-profit arm, and what we're calling these is Sabrin Services. So Sabrin Services Australia, let's say, would build a product, a series of life pods that we would then make available to Sabrin Health. The Sabrin Health then would be able to deliver that. So Sabrin Services would be able to get sales from the manufacturing aspect. One interesting way that I was looking at this is the technology part is something that we can license. We were fortunate enough to get a patent on this. So what I'm going to try and do is have a footprint in India. In fact, we already have a footprint in India called Sabrin Health India PVT Ltd, which is a not-for-profit. So that licensing would enable some funds to come to the tech component, and then healthcare would then be delivered to the populations or disadvantaged and vulnerable populations throughout each country. But that way, we're also able to increase the GDP of each country. By indigenizing it to India, let's say, we'd be able to increase jobs in India. We would be able to have, from a supply chain point of view, we would use ventilators, oxygen concentrators, pulse oximeters, and all of those other things that are Indian for India. And similarly, we would have same model for the US, for the UK, for Kenya, or any other place. The reason why I broke it up that way was because through Sabrin, through that health component, being either a not-for-profit or being a B Corp, we would be able to access funds from philanthropic organizations as well. But the model basically would be a business to government, a business to business, or even in some situations, a business to consumer. And that way, we would be able to try and meet as many, or rather distribute it to as many groups as possible so that the healthcare for individuals can be met. The other thing is looking at it from a CapEx point of view versus an OpEx point of view. If we do it as a CapEx, you're going to exclude a lot of people because of the fact that they can't afford it. So if we do it as an OpEx model, they're able to generate revenue while they're using it. So especially for those communities that can't afford it, we would be able to get the ability to provide healthcare and pay for it that way. I haven't really answered your question in the sense that I think at this moment it's a private venture. If I go into venture capital, which I don't really want to do, mainly because you lose the mission. The mission is stakeholders, not shareholders. So if we start having to look at having to give 10x or 100x back to the shareholders, we lose that mission. That's what I'm afraid of. So I'd rather put in my own money so that the mission is kept. It'll grow slowly, but I mean, I don't know. As for how WHEF will help, I'm lucky enough to be with so many seriously smart people. So I'm sure something will happen. You know, dharma and karma go hand in hand. So my job is to try and serve. At some point, things will make its own way.
Sure, they will, certainly. Thank you. Any other question here?
Namaste, panel members. Question to you, Amitji. While you did explain how that machine which you carry around on cycles and scooters to do that scanning for pre-blindness and also for cancer, TB, and maybe other diseases. So for people like me and many like me, I'm sure they wouldn't be able to understand, and for them AI is just like ChatGPT and Gemini and a few other tools. So would you be kind enough to elaborate as in how does AI come into the picture of these two examples which you have given, and in detail so that we all can understand and take it back with us? Thank you.
Actually, that is a very excellent question. Thank you for asking. Look, what AI does is there's two things. AI, the speed and accuracy is these two vital things we should remember. Speed, accuracy, and then the pattern. So what it will do is, AI is powered by, we know all computers. Computers do things very fast. Now what AI does is, AI is called artificial intelligence. So it is not only scanning the vast amount of data, but scanning it smartly and read every bit of it and apply some algorithm and logic to achieve something meaningful outcome for you. Humanly, it is not possible. If somebody has to go through thousands and thousands of data points and then pick out some logic into it, it is humanly not possible. So what AI does it, that it goes through vast amount of data in a fraction of second, applies certain algorithm, and then brings some meaningful outcome for you, which can help you to make a decision making. So first is that. Second is accuracy. Look, human always can make a mistake. But what AI, since it is a machine, and it knows 0101, it will never make a mistake. So accuracy of AI is also critical. Third part which comes, which is more beautiful, is the machine learning, which is called the pattern. So AI will understand certain pattern, and it will predict what is going to happen with that AI. I'll tell you, like we have got a lot of clients in Australia. One of the clients who are the largest is the security manpower. And there we apply certain AI tool, which almost 95% tells them which security guard will come late. No, humanly it is not possible. Because we know that every Monday and Tuesday he has this. So we learn through that pattern that, okay, the most likely chance of his taking the off is this particular day. So these are the things mostly AI can do. So pattern learning. And now what AI has gone next level is, so it is not only predicting what will happen, prescribing. It will tell you to solve this problem which is about to come, you have these three options. So these are the beautiful things which AI can do, obviously, so please take use of it. And that's why I always say, look, when the Industrial Revolution came, people will thought that everybody will lose the job. But Industrial Revolution has taken the world forward. So this is what? Understand AI. All of you can apply AI to your own field. AI is for everyone. AI is not just for the technology people. It is for all of you. All of you can innovate on top of AI. Thank you.
Thank you, Amit ji.
इधर
Professor.
मेरा प्रश्न यहाँ से है। मेरा नाम सेवा सिंह है और मैं सबसे पहले हिंदी में बोलने की इजाज़त चाहूँगा। प्रश्न से पहले मैं अमित दास जी को, जो जड़ों से जुड़े रहकर दिलों को और लोगों को जोड़ने का काम कर रहे हैं, उसके लिए बधाई और साधुवाद। आप हम सब के लिए प्रेरणा स्रोत हैं और आपको सुनकर जानकर बहुत अच्छा लगा। मेरा प्रश्न अभिलाष जी से है। अभिलाष जी, आपने कहा कि आपकी जो संस्था है सैब्रन, वो नॉट फॉर प्रॉफिट, आपकी सर्विसेज जो हैं वो नॉट फॉर प्रॉफिट हैं, और मैं जानना चाहता हूं कि हम किस रूप में आपके साथ जुड़ सकते हैं ताकि जो प्रोडक्ट्स, जो सर्विसेज आप प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं, वो एज ए शेयर होल्डर नहीं, एज ए स्टेक होल्डर हम हमारे भारत के दूरस्थ गांवों में जहां पे ये सुविधाएं नहीं हैं वहां पहुंचा सकें। हम ये चीज़ कैसे आप हमें उपलब्ध करा सकते हैं?
Thank you for the question. माफ़ करना, मेरा हिंदी बहुत अच्छा नहीं है. I'll have to answer in English.
Please.
Because we are at such an early stage, I don't really know what I need. So I've got ideas and I've got options, but I think probably the best way would be to see, I trained my whole life to be a doctor, and I have very little knowledge of how to run a business. So I ended up learning on the job, so to speak. But as we get older, it gets harder to learn. What I do know is how to treat patients, and it'll be great to look at how we can. I'm all about collaboration, because this is a wicked problem. This is a huge wicked problem, and we can't do it alone. We have to do it together. And like Amitji had said earlier on, we have to take the first step. And the way I looked at it is I took a step, and with that, 5 people come forward. And then I take another step, and that's another 10 people. So we grow an ecosystem together with regards to, you have my details, please feel free. I don't sleep very much, so if it's 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm very happy with that as well. You know, you can contact me anytime, and I'd love to walk hand in hand with everybody to try and fix, to make health available for everybody. Did that answer your question?
Hello, I'm Naveen Shukla. I'm an Ayurveda specialist, and I lead Ayurveda Australia over here in Australia. First of all, congratulations to all of us. It's not only a single person effort. Everyone who came for 3 days, 2 days over here, it is a big task for everyone. And my question is for Amitji and Dr. Saab both. First of all, congratulations, Abhiji, for doing such a great job for the community. Just one thing is in my mind. Are you doing something for the mentorship of Hindu youth, particularly who are doing IT or computer science? I believe we need a good mentor for the young youth people, kids who are in the university. It will create our man force into the Hindu community, and we really need it. Do you have some idea to do this? And second thing for Dr. Abhilash, in the beginning you said that you are not a wealthy person. So what is the definition of wealth for you? And do you think we people can contribute for you to increase your wealth? One thing I will add you, as you said that you are not sleeping till 2 o'clock, you are awake. Please, you should have a good sleep. We need you for a long life. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Well, initially, for me, I interpreted it, or rather, it was a misinterpretation on my part. The way I look at wealth is it's all from the perspectives, isn't it? If you look at wealth from an individual point of view, whereas you can also look at wealth from a nation's point of view, or a community's point of view. If we look at something like road traffic accidents in Bharat, there's about 150,000 deaths per year on those roads. But with that, there's a terrible loss of life. I mean, the way I look at it is we can't put a value on life. It's invaluable. My objective is to try and save as many lives as possible, and to try and save as many limbs and eyes, and to try and reduce all of the loss and suffering. The way I look at it is, if any one of those losses would be able to contribute immensely to the value and wealth created within Bharat, within Australia, within Nigeria, or wherever it is, by bringing wealth to that community, if it is loss of one person, that person is critical to their family group. That means that family group has lost. So by doing what I'm trying to do, and by doing what Amitji is doing, he's able to bring wealth to that community and to that country and to that nation. So that action then just escalates and it scales enormously. So my initial reaction was, oh my gosh, I have no money, but it's not about me, it's about lives and people. So from that perspective, I think I am contributing significantly to wealth generation. It's just to the nation.
Thank you. Thank you, Doctor. Okay, Professor Mahendiranji, please.
Thank you very much. I think it's a fantastic discussion. I just want to shift the discussion a little bit, maybe with a question. There's a lot of discussion on getting the resources for all your innovation and so on. But if we shift our discussion, I think you correctly said that from shareholders to stakeholders, a broader stakeholder. But that would need a shift from the return on investment kind of argument to return on values. Because what you are doing actually is phenomenal. I think all of you all. Say, for example, if you say, if I am able to catch somebody in pre-diabetic stage before they make into the diabetic stage, what is the cost saving that you're going to have if they make it, if they become diabetic, the cost to the healthcare is phenomenal. That's one person. So if you can estimate that, that's the cost that you save and that's the value that you create for society, right? healthcare, environment, the whole works you can do. So whatever innovation, if you can characterize it as a return on values, and there is a number you can actually compute. And if you can do that, you bring in the right investors, the right talent, governments will invest into your startups. So I think I urge that maybe you want to look at how you characterize return on values. There are a lot of materials that I can make it available for all of you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Mandiran. You're always very helpful, guiding us. Now, I think we are running a bit late on this session. I would like to thank all the speakers. Thank you very much for coming, participating here, and thank you all of you being here. I now close this session and hand over to Seshadri ji. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you all. Thank you, Dr. Motwani and the distinguished speakers. It was an engaging session and definitely kept us awake after a great lunch. So thank you once again. And before we move on, I'd like to, like I said, thank the distinguished speakers. We will now go on to the next session. But before that, I'd like to acknowledge our sponsors and partners, organizing partner, the Government of South Australia and Zoho Corporation, platinum sponsors, Shubham Tanks and Liners Private Limited, and our gold sponsors, Saraf Global. We will now break for a 10-minute comfort break before we start our next session on powering the green economy, balancing energy demand and supply for a sustainable future. It is an exciting panel. Try and keep your break for about 10 or 15 minutes at the latest, and we'll be back here soon. Thank you.